Yes, fellow petrol heads, welcome back to another video. As you can see behind me, the Polo is already up on jack stands, ready to go, because today I'm going to be swapping out the top mount on my suspension for some 034 Motorsport Camber mounts. It's a big upgrade for MQB platform cars, a very popular one to do indeed. And yeah, hopefully this will give me a better fitment and better handling in the corners. So if you guys know your MQB platform cars, you know they're very square up front, and adding camber can drastically increase the grip in corners. But the only real way to do that is either adding top mounts that add the camber, which is what I'm doing, or you can get camber adjustable front wishbone bushings, but they only add about ½ a degree of camber down there, whereas the top mounts add 1.4 degrees, so a much better option to go for. Now, the top mounts haven't actually arrived just yet, but they are coming today, so what I thought I'd do is get the car up in the air ready to go. I'll just talk you through quickly the kind of things you need to do to actually remove your strut. So basically, ignore the amount of copper grease on here, guys. I am going to sort that out. You're going to want to remove your hub bolt just down here. I'll put all these specs in the description for all the bolts and stuff that I mentioned. I've already removed this one, but there's a little 10mm here that holds this sort of brake line bracket in, but if you just loosen that off, it gives a bit more room for the brake line to move. You're going to want to remove your drop link bolt as well. There's a pinch bolt just at the back over here, so that's a M10 or M8 spline, I can't remember, but again, I'll put them in. And a bolt on the other side as well. So when you remove that, you can basically get your spreader tool behind here, if you can just about see in there. It's not very clear though. Spreader tool in there, that's going to spread this knuckle slightly and allow the strut to come out. You've also got your 3 bolts on the bottom of the wishbone, which you want to take out as well, because obviously the hub's going to become quite free after you take all that stuff out. And then 3 bolts at the top on your strut mounting up here as well. So after they're out, you can remove the strut from the car, support the hub, and then get to work installing the top mounts. So one of the many benefits of having coilovers on your car is that you can actually lower the suspension a little bit. Well, when I say lower, what I mean is spin the actual spring seat downwards so that you're getting all the tension out of the spring before you remove the top hat. But before you do that, it's really important to clean the threads on the coilovers. If you start threading your spring seat with some dirt in the actual threads themselves, you're going to run into some issues. So make sure you clean it very thoroughly, and you can loosen off your little locking nut and start to loosen the spring ever so slightly, so that when you take off the top mount, you don't get shot in the face. Now, if you're short of fancy tools, it's absolutely fine, because you can get away with just a 22mm spanner with a curved end on it and a 10mm spanner as well. The 10mm is going to actually hold the center of the strut in place while you loosen the 22 nut off the top of it. Right guys, I'm a bit sniffly, I do apologise. It's 1 degree outside, but I'm soldiering on, getting this done. So what we have here is our 034 Motorsport Camber mounts, and I'll just show you compared to the 034 high density mounts that I've had installed. You can see that the middle centre point is essentially just moved further towards the chassis, which tilts the shock inwards and therefore tilts the wheel inwards, adding camber. So all you have to do, you have to use the bearing from before. I do recommend replacing these, but these are actually the 034 ones, so I'm going to be putting these back on with the new mount, and I'll just come this side of the camera so I know what you guys are seeing. As you can see, here's our new mount, and you've got this little metal cutout up here, or sort of indent. That's going to match up with that groove there, and that is how the bearing will sit. You also want this line here, you can see the line etched in the bearing as well, just there, to line up with, let's just tilt this round, this sort of groove at the back that fits into the knuckle in the car. So what I'm going to do now is get my shock there. The spring should be like that, with this piece facing towards the outside of the car, and then the bearing is going to go on top, like so. That is how it will sit. So what I'm going to do, tighten everything up and then get it back on the car. Side note, like a pillock, I forgot to put the dust cover back on. So that's coming off again. So I can put that where it's meant to be. Right guys, so the camber mounts are now on the Polo, but that means it's going to need an alignment, because since the last time it was aligned, I've had the bushers changed out, which was on my previous video, and we just put the camber mounts on now, so the toe is going to be completely thrown off. So let's go get it aligned. So the Polo has now had its alignment. The toe was very much out, both wheels are pointing that way, and it did feel quite strange to drive in all fairness, but yeah, all finished, all aligned as it should be. One thing I will note, obviously these camber mounts bring each side in equally. However, if the subframe is out, which this one is apparently, you'll have more camber on one wheel than on the other, so I'm definitely gonna have to get that adjusted at some point. I know on Golfs and stuff, you can get the collar kit that kind of keep the subframe in the right place, but that's something for a later date. Yeah, so let's cover the camber mounts first. I'm going to talk about the bushings as well in this clip. But yeah, the camber mounts have definitely increased just the steering feel and the sportiness of the car in general. I'm finding this quite hard to explain. It is my second take doing this clip. But overall, I would just say that the steering feels a lot more direct. You definitely feel like the feel of the steering on the road and kind of how connected you feel to it is way better. It just has dialed it up a little bit more. It's similar to like putting lowering springs in your car, how it makes it feel a bit more planted and a bit more like you're feeling what's going on. Same thing for these camber mounts. Again, it is part of the suspension. You are adding a metal top mount instead of the rubber one, so you're going to feel more through the road anyway. But I would just say it feels like I've pressed the sport button and it's changed something in that sense. It's just stiffened it up and it's made me feel a lot more connected to the road. Camber mounts as well, I'd say in the corners, you definitely feel like you've got more control in the corner. So let's say you're going 70 round a fairly tight bend, not a tight bend, but you know what I mean. You feel like you are more planted and that you're almost not, I think before it felt almost floaty maybe, and like you weren't fully connected, but now it feels like you've got more input in that corner, which is great, and it's definitely given me a lot more confidence as well in the corners. That paired up with the poly bushing, massive change to the Polo. So I mentioned before I had some instability issues when braking. That's gone now. The front end feels a lot more planted, and actually the bushings really help towards the steering feel as well. So those two things combined have made this car handle incredibly well. I'm very, very happy with it. If you guys do have any questions about the things that I've installed on the Polo, best bet is to give me a message on Instagram. I will reply as soon as I can on there. Also leave a follow while you're there, why not? But yeah, no, it's been a great change to the Polo. Next things I want to do are the anti-roll bars from H&R. So obviously this is a torsion beam setup, but you can get an anti-roll bar which stiffens it up even more. I've seen videos of sort of Cupras with anti-roll bars on, and they seem to just make the front end a lot more darty, and I think just kind of tie into that steering feel that you get up front that otherwise feels quite floaty, as I've said before. So yeah, very excited to get those on at some point. But yeah, let me know guys if you have any questions. Once again, thank you very much for watching. It's been a pleasure, of course. Please leave a like down below and a comment if you want to see more content like this, or let me know what kind of content you want to see. I'm open to suggestions, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button and that bell icon to receive a notification every time I make a new upload. Once again guys, thank you very much for watching. My name's Ed, this is Passion for Petrol, and I'll catch you in the next video.